Now that you've seen a little of how SwiftData's predicate works, your next question is going to be, how can I make this thing work with user data? And the answer is, it's complicated. I'm going to show you how it's done, and also how the same technique can be applied to do dynamic sorting of data as well. But it'll take you a little bit of a while to remember exactly how it's done. Hopefully, Apple can improve this in the future, making it easier. Now, I'm going to build on our previous SwiftData code here. That means we had a user class over here with a name, a city, and a join date. And then in our content view, we had a query, this one here, with quite a long, hard-coded predicate right now. And then a list showing all those users in one place. What we're going to do is move that list and the query out into a separate view here, a view specifically for running that query and showing its results, then making it show all users or only users who are joining in the future, have yet to join the company. And so press Command N to make a new SwiftUI view and call this thing Users View, like that. And what I want you to do is move the list code from content view into this new users view. So over here, I'll grab this whole list and then just Command C that code and paste it into the body of users view. So now we're displaying the SwiftData results inside users view. We've got to add the query there as well. This should not have a sort order or a predicate, just a simple query as it is. So first, add an import up here for SwiftData, and then the main struct, add a property to read out the user's value as an array. We'll say at query var users will be an array of user. And now, once you add the model container modifier down to your preview, so at least the preview works nicely, we're going to say, let's do a model container for our user.self, like that. So we have the simple list, no modifiers, they stay in the previous view. Then the SwiftData query, an import of SwiftData, plus the model container being set up here so the preview will work correctly if you want to use them. Now, before we're done with this view here, we need a way to customize the query that gets run. This thing right now. As things stand, just saying that means load all users with no filter or sort order. And really, we want to customize one or both of those from content view. We want to pass in some data saying, here's your filter, here's your sort order, whatever. This is best done by passing a value into the view using an initializer, then using that initializer to create the query. Now, as I said earlier, our goal is to show either all users or only users who are going to join in the future, haven't joined the company yet. And so we'll accomplish that by passing in a minimum join date and using that to make sure our users join after that date. And so our initializer will look like this. An init with minimum join date being a date, like that. And then we're going to say underscore users is a new query with a filter of hash predicate of a user, one user coming in, like that. Boom. And we'll say here, our user join date is greater or equal to our minimum join date. And then we'll apply a sort of user.name by default, like that. So that's mostly code you're used to, but notice the important part is there's an underscore here in front of the user's value here. That's intentional, not just users, it's underscore users. We aren't trying to change the user's array. That's a simple array of users at this point. We don't want to change that here. We're trying to change the underlying SwiftData query that produces the array. And this underscore is Swift's way of getting access to that query behind the actual array, which means we're making the new query here, a whole new query object from data that's being passed in. So we're not making the array, we're making the query that makes the array, if that makes sense. At this point, we're done with our users view. So now, back in content view, we want to first delete the current query. That's not required anymore. This thing doesn't do any SwiftData query anymore, like that. And instead, we'll replace this thing with some kind of Boolean to toggle our filter on or off, and then pass its current value into the user's view. So we'll say here, we have @state private var showing upcoming only. It's false by default. So it'll show everybody by default. When it's true, it'll show a subset. And then this list here is going to be replaced with our new user's view, passing in a minimum join date. So we'll say, make a user's view. And if showing upcoming only is true, then pass in .now. Otherwise, pass in .distant past. I'm going to indent these things in one level to keep our code nice and clean. So we're passing in one of two values, this one or this one, depending on the value of showing upcoming only. So when the Boolean is true, we're saying pass in date.now, the current date and time. That's our minimum join date. And so only people who join after that date will be shown. Otherwise, we pass in a special value date.distant past, which is a date at least 2,000 years in the past. So unless you have some Roman emperors join your company, it'll work here. It'll show, okay, everyone has a join date after the distant past, and so it'll show everybody here. All that remains now is to add a way to toggle that Boolean inside our content view. And so we've got our current add samples button here. I'll leave that alone. We'll say after that is a new button. And for the label, I'm going to say, are we showing new only, upcoming only or not here? And if we are showing upcoming only, then we'll say show everyone. Otherwise, if we aren't showing it, we'll show upcoming. So it picks one of two titles. But either the title is being used doesn't really matter. We always, for the action, do showing upcoming only .toggle, like so. So it's changing the button's label automatically as we toggle between our little Boolean state here. Let's press Command B and see what mistakes I've made, if any. Yes, my preview down here. Passing the value, it's fine. I'll just say minimum join date of now is fine. Okay. So now I'll press Command R again. It's going to launch my simulator. And all being well, we can add our samples, which we have. You notice, remember, we have -10, -5, +5, and +10. So these last two are future joiners, whereas these previous two are existing or old joiners. And when the app finally launches, come on Xcode, you can do it. Come on. I've got two of them. Whoops. 17.2 and 17.0. My mistake. Doesn't matter. Come on, launch it. You can do it. There we go. So Ed and Johnny are mixed people. One's -10, one's +10. So if I toggle this thing here, boom. So it's saying upcoming joiners are Johnny and Roy, which is correct. These ones here have yet to join the company. Otherwise, it shows everyone there. Yes, that was quite a bit of work, quite frankly, because you had to do a lot of manual lifting of making an initializer and so forth. But as you can see, it works very, very well. The result is exactly what we wanted here. And you can apply the same technique to other kinds of filtering too. Now, the same approach also works with sorting of stuff. We could control an array of sort descriptors in content view, how to sort our data, then pass that into the initializer of our user's view to have it adjust the query as the sort order changes. First, we're going to upgrade our user's view to handle accepting some array of sort descriptors here in our initializer. This again uses Swift's generics system. We don't say sort descriptor, sort anything at all, that'd be silly. We say sort descriptor that sorts a user. So it knows, oh, it'll be the name or the join date or the city. And so we'll modify initializer here to say our sort order is an array of sort descriptor user. Like that. And now when we're sorting stuff, we want to pass in that sort array, not exactly always use a name. So I'll say use sort order here. Make sure you update your preview code, passing in some kind of sort order. So I'll say here our sort order is an array of sort descriptor user.name by default. That's our default sort order. And now back in content view, we can pass in various values. So it means storing a new property in there to have the current sort order with a default value that's sensible. So we might say our default sort order is name, then join date. Sensible. So in content view here, I'm going to say at state private var sort order is an array of sort descriptor user.name and then sort descriptor with user.joinDate. That's our default value. And we'll pass that into here. So user's view of the current join date's fine. And then at the end of that, sort order is our sort order, like so. And finally, we need a way to adjust that sort order dynamically in content view. One option is use a picker, showing two options, sort by name, sort by join date. That in itself isn't tricky. Question is, how do you attach a sort descriptor array to each option? Okay, so when we say name, it means that. When it's date, it means the other way around. The answer lies in a very useful SwiftUI modifier called tag, which lets us attach specific views to whatever we're trying to choose as our picker option. Specific values even, sorry. Here that means we can literally make the tag of each option be a sort descriptor array. So it knows when that's pressed, assign that array to our sort order state value here. So let's go down to our toolbar again. I'll say below the button is a picker saying sort with selection bound to $sort order, like so. And then we'll say the first one is text sort by name with a tag of, so it's an array. So we'll say it's current default value. I'm typing that again. There you go. That's our previous one. Sort by that thing. That's by name. And then for the other option, we have sort by join date, where these go the other way around. So we'll do join date, then name. So sort by name, it's name, then join date. By join date, it will be join date, then name, like so. Now, the code's correct. That code is all good code. What you see when you run it will vary. So I'll run my code now, and you can see I'm seeing a little ellipsis in a circle, 3 dots in a circle. When I press that, I get sort, and then I get by name or by join date. So if I sort by join date, I'm going to get Ed first, then Rose, then Roy, then Johnny, and then by name, I'll get the name ordering. So it's working correctly, it's all good, but it's perhaps not what you expected. You might also see at the top here the words sort by name instead of 3 dots in a circle. It depends on the device size you have. This is an iPhone 15 Pro. If you have an iPhone 15 Pro Max with a bigger screen space, you'll probably see the whole button title in there. So it's varying. Honestly, both options aren't great. You know, when you're seeing 3 dots, press that, then press sort by join date is quite slow. And if you have the Max version running, it'll say sort by name when you have sort by name enabled, which is confusing you. It's like this one shows the one it's going to change to, not the one it is currently. So both options aren't great. However, we can do better with another new SwiftUI piece of code here. We can wrap this picker inside a menu, which lets us create menus inside the navigation bar, and you can place buttons in there, pickers in there, and much, much more. In this case, we wrap this current picker with a menu, we'll get a much nicer result. So let's say our menu is called sort with a system image of the sort arrow thing, which is arrow.up.arrow.down. Put our picker inside that. And now we'll get much better results. We see a sort arrows, press that, and now we get straight to sort by name and sort by join date. That's a much, much nicer way of working. So menu is really good for that. Anyway, importantly, our dynamic filtering and our dynamic sorting are both working great.